STEM has a lot of different options, a lot of different areas that a Latina can consider going into as far as a career. My guest is Catalina Rubalcava-Shaffer. She is in charge of data protection for United Airlines. There's definitely a lot of opportunity to work with cybersecurity for Latinas. Well, welcome to Asa Latina. My guest today is Carolina Rubalcava-Shaffer. I'm so excited because she's in something that's so important nowadays with security. She is the senior manager for data protection and insider threat. So, without any further ado, let me introduce Carolina.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. This is exciting because your field is so amazing. And I know that we don't have enough Latinas in there. So this is really good to learn what you do, how you got there. So let's start about your upbringing, where you're from, and your education. What did you like as a teenager?
I grew up in Monterrey, Mexico. I lived there until the age of 15. And then that's when I moved to the US, to the wonderful state of Indiana. Growing up in Mexico, I was always very hyperactive kid, right? But I got into everything. So I really liked, I was very curious on how things worked. So I used to be the one child, like taking the TV apart, electronics, seeing what was inside. And then I always had a niche for like trying to make things better, like just making more efficient. I will also do experiments, with things around the house. That was my upbringing. But I was also into sports. So I tried almost every sport that's available. And then I also dance. So I was taking ballet, jazz, flamenco, including the sports. So I was very, very, very active. When I moved to the States, my life changed a lot because I felt like my life in Mexico, I had more of those choices and possibilities to do all those things. When I moved here, I was a junior in high school, and it was a cultural shock. I couldn't do a lot of the things that I really loved doing here, but I did play basketball my junior and senior year. So I was in the varsity team, and I was able to do that, moving from Mexico. And that was something that, cheered me up and kept me going. But I always had that interest in, technology, just seeing how things work. So in high school, I took a programming class. It was the language is basic, one of the older languages. And I really liked it. I also took math classes because for whatever reason, I love math. Um, and yes, and right after high school, then I enrolled at Purdue University. I was also in the military.
Oh, wow. Tell us
Yes.
about that.
So I did 1 year at Purdue. Then I signed up for the Army National Guard. So that was only I was reserved. So I was doing 1 weekend a month and then 2 weeks a year. So that helped me pay for my college.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Mhm.
That's great. So that's basically right here. You don't go anywhere. You weren't deployed or anything like that. So
No, no, no.
see is what I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I was lucky not to get deployed.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So what was it like to be in college taking what you were studying was you studied computer information technology, right?
Correct. Yes. So that was I didn't really know that was the career that I wanted to choose, but I knew that I like the engineering classes, the math classes. I like even science, and I like to fix problems. And that's what my advisor recommended. And I had taken that one programming class in high school. So they're like, oh, this curriculum, you will be taking additional programming. And I said, okay, well, let me give it a try. And I really didn't, I enjoyed it a lot. Right away, I knew I was like, yes, this is it. This is for me. My sister joined with me around this, a year after. And she gave it a try, and right away she realized that was not for her. So, we went our separate ways, but yeah, it's something I enjoy. I had, during my time in college, I did get married. I got married at the age of 21. So I had to, and then I had my daughter. So I was a mom, I was working, and then I was a part time student. So it did take me a little bit to complete my degree, but I was able to do it. It was hard, but yeah, when you put your mind to it, you'll accomplish what you want.
That's wonderful. I think that's great that you told us about that, because that's everyone has challenges and all kinds of things happen in our life. So, but to keep going and to, acquire that, that's wonderful. I mean, that's a big accomplishment. So, from there, where did you go next? Did you when you graduated, what was next for you as far as utilizing that degree?
So during my time at Purdue, I was able to do a couple internships. One was with the big utility company, and another one with a smaller company. And that really is what got me my foot in the door. It got me the experience that I needed, and I made connections, especially at the utility company. So I met some people, and then I went back to, finishing my degree, and that's how I was able to go back and get a job with the company.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Hmm.
So now you're at United,
Yes.
and that's definitely an area where you're doing this insider, as far as cyber technology and protecting our data is so important now these days, especially because there's been so many companies hacked into. What's a typical day for you in that kind of position?
So, so what we do is, we work on strategy, and then we have our projects that we need to accomplish. So, on a day to day, is making sure that we're making progress, right? We're managing the projects. We're working with numerous teams, and then just making sure that we're making progress, and the the job is being done. But our projects consist of we really focus on all the egress vectors of the company, so all the different ways that data could leave the company, and then we put controls in place to mitigate that.
That's great. So it's kind of exciting. Sounds like a little bit like not being a spy, but like a little 007 sort of job where you're really kind of looking at, the deep, catching whoever might be out there and catching it on time. That's very critical. So you got a very important role there. So, what is it like as far as next steps go? I mean, what do you see that you would want to do next time?
So I really like what I'm doing right now. I'm united. I like my job. I really enjoyed it. But I think the next thing for me is trying to recruit more Latinas into the field. That's a personal goal that I gave myself. And just also getting away from the misconception that girls cannot do cybersecurity or any other STEM right career. Especially when people sometimes think of cyber, they think of like a guy in a hoodie, and I'm like, no, I wear makeup, and I'm doing cyber work, and not every job in cybersecurity you have to be coding or hacking. There are many different jobs that you can do. Um, so that's one of my personal goals. That's what's really next for me. Of course, my career, I will, I'm making the moves that I need to make, but what matters a lot to me right now, it's having an influence in our Hispanic community, especially Latinas. I believe that it's 20% of women are in cybersecurity, but I think out of that 20%, 2% are Latinas. And my numbers might be a little off, but it's around that, plus minus.
Yeah, you're right. We're about 2% in entire everything, all the STEM fields
Hmm.
for Latinos, which is really low. And these
Yes.
opportunities, like learning about you and your experience, is encouraging. Because Tell me about, did you have a mentor when you were at work or in college or even in high school?
So in high school, I didn't really, because that's when I first had moved here. So I was more of the quiet, girl just trying to get through high school. But when I was at Purdue, I did have a professor. It was this lady, and she was very encouraging. And to this day, we still keep in touch. And she would say, "You need to do it. We need more women." And she was one of the first people that I've heard talk about we need more women in this field. And she has been great. She has been pointing me, while I was in college, to the companies I should be applying to, and just kind of pushing me and motivating me, to keep forward.
Yeah, that's good. Did you ever have any challenges? And how did you overcome them anywhere in your life? I mean, as in this field.
I think the biggest challenge that I had was imposter syndrome. And I know a lot of people, talk about it, but for me it was, I moved to a different country. Just moving here is like, I'm not from here. That's the first, time I experienced imposter syndrome. Then I go into a male dominating field, and it's even more like, okay, I'm not from this country. I just started college in a male dominated field. So I had to really give myself pep talks a lot, and try to forget about it and just keep moving forward, and just telling myself all the time, if it was easy, then anybody could do it, right? So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the one. That's one of the, I guess, one of the biggest, challenges I had to accomplish. Overcome. I'm sorry, I had to overcome.
Yeah, that's right. We have to overcome that a lot. So you did that. And that's, what about opportunities? So how did you ever find some opportunities because you're a Latina, especially because you're bilingual?
Well, actually, when I was working at AT&T, so that was before I started working in the STEM field. So that was like after I got married, and then I had kids, so I had to work and go to school. I work at AT&T, and I work in a collection center, a call center, and I was in the bilingual department. So that was the opportunity I got. I was able to get. It was a really good job, union, but I was in the Spanish line. So if I wasn't bilingual, I wasn't gonna, I wouldn't be able to get that job.
That's good. That's valuable. So yeah, you had that opportunity to really showcase what value as a Latina you had to the company too. So that's wonderful. So I wanted to ask you, when you if you were to kind of turn back time and you were right now 18, but you've gone through your life, what kind of advice would you give yourself?
I would tell myself to, because we all have our dreams and goals, and then we prevent ourselves from making them happen because of our insecurities. I would just tell myself to just, what are you doing? Believe in yourself. Go for it. Don't doubt it. Who cares what everybody else thinks or what they're going to say? You know what? You just go ahead and do it. Be confident. I know that's really easy to say, right? But um, just giving that pep talk, and then, um, and this is for everybody, you are going to be okay. Nothing, if you go after your dreams, what can happen, right?
Right,
What
right.
can what bad things could happen? Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't take the risk, you'll never know, basically. Yeah, so that's really good. So do you have to have coding, no coding in your job? Because you mentioned that a little bit in the hacking and
Yeah, so there are some jobs, I mean, you do require some type of technical knowledge, but there are certain areas in cybersecurity where you do require coding, and then there are other ones that you might not. For example, if you go into application security, you're working with developers, you might be doing code review or fixing vulnerabilities, code based vulnerabilities, and you need to know how to fix them. Um, so that, yes, you do require to know coding. You're not coding, but you're working with people that are. Now, we also have a red team, which are the ethical hackers. And that team needs to know pretty much, anything, the inside and out of a computer and a network. So there you
Mm,
will need to know at least scripting, how to script, because they're trying to break code and trying to hack into systems.
wow. And being it's United Airlines, it's a you're worldwide, so you're really looking at a very big spectrum. It looks like so you have a big team, I imagine, because there's so much to have to look at in various areas. I'm sure. I mean, in various languages too, probably.
Oh yes. And in security, you can take that to any company because you're looking at systems, you're looking at the cloud, you're looking at on-prem, you're looking at databases. So that knowledge, you can apply it at United, but you can really, you're not tied down to one industry. You can go to any industry in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And is it true it's a demanding job right now because of how important it is? Is that correct? I mean, it's one of those things that Latinas should consider.
Oh yes, definitely. So we're short. Everybody's short staffed. Every company is fighting for cybersecurity professionals, and because the community is small, we're basically fighting for the same people. So we need more people to join. Go to take cybersecurity classes. Go get those degrees. I think there's an estimation, and I don't remember the exact number, but it's like 22 million jobs that are going to
Wow.
be vacant in the next 2 or 3 years. So it's not even years from now, and we don't have enough people to fill them. So there's a demand. I would recommend all my Latinas out there. We need you. This is something that you can do, and you can do it very well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it'd be great to see more Latinas in this field.
Hmm.
It's we are a large population. We'll be 25% among all women population by 2025. So, it's possible. So I think it's great. Thank you for that message because I think it's very important that they know that. So, other things I want to ask you is what is your favorite quote? I mean, everyone has a quote, or what is something that really you like and it really resonated with you?
Something my mom has always told me is, well, maybe it's not a quote, but it's something that she used to say all the time. Comfort, comfort zones are very dangerous, she used to say. Well, she tells me to this day. So if you find yourself in your comfort zone, you're not growing, you're not learning. And she always says, beware of comfort zones. So that's something that I think about often.
I think that's good. So it's saying get out of your comfort space in a way and explore so you can continue growing, I imagine. Because I've heard that before a little bit. If you're in your comfort space, you're not growing. So it looks like that's what she was alluding to. Wow, that's fantastic. So, so we've covered the coding and everything. That sounds fantastic. And definitely, I think it's encouraging for Latinas to consider technology in your field. How long did it take you for the degree, and what kind of what were the requirements to get into that particular study at you studied at Purdue, right?
Pretty.
Yeah.
So when I did it, there were no special requirements. So you had to, apply for the school and then, you know, do the SAT scores and the entrance exam. So there's nothing that you needed to prep for. And I believe it's still the case now. Um, Purdue now they have a cybersecurity bachelor's program where it didn't exist before. This is cybersecurity is new. It's a very very new area. Um, but if anybody is interested in exploring, in just learning more about what cybersecurity is, I believe that now there are some high schools offering like a class in computer science or even cybersecurity. So I would recommend take it, see if you like it, it's something that interests you. Um, and then the classes that I took when I was at Purdue, I took programming classes, Java, C++, C Sharp. I took a computer forensics class, which is my favorite. That was a lot of fun. I took, networking, disaster recovery, like business continuity classes, database administration classes as well, because of the area that I was focusing on, and information assurance, security assurance as well,
Wow.
which is more like policies and making sure things are in compliance. So that's what I took back when I went. It did take me a while to finish because I was working and going to school part time, and I was a mom. But if you go to full time, you can be done in 4 years. You have your bachelor's in cybersecurity, and trust me, people are gonna be waiting for you to graduate.
Wow. And I'm sure there'll be internships too that us Latinas should consider. Because I think you mentioned you had internship too in some phase where you were in college, was it, or after?
Yes. So I was during college. So there are internship opportunities in the summer, and a lot of the major companies and the tech giants, they'll have that summer internship program. And you can, the moment that you start, well, I think they start at sophomore year. You can do an internship every summer with a major company and get hands-on experience. And then maybe you get hired in. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that's very excellent. It's so important. I think that internships are very important. I know that my own experience is sometimes, it's one of those things that really opens the doors. It might not be exactly the company you want to go to, but then it still opens the doors for you to have that, what they call the catch 22, the experience and the college degree, and so it kind of crosses that off. So you accomplish that with that. So here you are at United. So that's great.
Yeah.
So I guess that concludes our, interview. But I'm so excited for Latinas to be encouraged by you, especially with everything that we've learned here about your experience, um, and your excitement over this. It sounds like you really
Mhm.
love your job and you love what you're doing, which is really a very important thing. And I really hope Latinas consider going into these fields, as you said, because we need them. So thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me and giving me this opportunity to speak up. And I really hope I do inspire somebody. And you got it right on. I love my job. Before cyber, I was doing computer programming, and I love that too. I know that sounds crazy, but I hope I can inspire somebody. This can be fun for girls. Just, we have many, many different things that they can do, and we really need people in this field.
Okay, great. I'm sure that they'll be very interested in pursuing this now. So thank you so much. Thank you for your time. And so now this concludes our interview with Catalina, and I hope that you'll join us with the further other interviews that we have with trailblazers, Latinas like Catalina as well. So thank you for joining us.